Hello, class 9. Good morning. I'm beginning with the moments now. Lesson number 8. A house is not a home by San Godioso. I'm going to give you introduction to this particular lesson as well as explanation in this video. The story highlights the theme difference between a house and a home. While a house is a building where people live, a home is a place where a family lives, together sharing the unique bond of love and oneness. The narrator's house gets destroyed by fire and he gets a new house. Then he realizes that his home is the one built by the love and affection of his family and loved ones. Love and affection of one's family is precious. So, what is emphasis given in this story is love and affection among the family members living in a home. So, that is very, very important here. In the summary, the story revolves around Zan. He was sad as he got into a new high school. He did not have his old friends and was a junior there. He missed the old school and would visit it often. He had enjoyed being a senior there. To add to his miseries, one Sunday afternoon his house caught fire. Other than a few papers and photos of his father that were retrieved by his mother, they lost everything. Zan did not even have a pair of shoes. His pet cat was also missing. Zan got depressed and did not want to attend school. He realized that he could not soak up in his sadness as he had to rebuild their life. They needed a new house, clothes, books, etc. They did not have any cash, credit card, or identity proof and had to borrow money from his grandparents. One day at school, Zhang was astonished to see a table full of things books, stationery items, clothes, etc., which had been collected by his classmates. They were helping Zhang. Zhang was overwhelmed and made friends. He came out of the depression and realized that life was beautiful. Zhang saw his house being rebuilt and felt that same was happening with his life too. A kind of woman returned his cat, which had run away on being scared of the fire. Jan became full of life when he realized that life was not about material possession but about love, affection, and being with one's loved ones. So, this was the summary. Now, I am going to just explain the story. As the narrator entered high school in the first year, he felt strange. In the junior school, he had been the head of the class and had enjoyed the privileges given to a senior. It was uncomfortable to be a fresher at the high school. The school was twice as big as the old one, and to make matters worse, his friends had got into other schools, so he was lonely too. He would go back to his old school to meet the teachers because he missed his old school. The teachers would encourage him to meet new people in the new school and get involved in new activities. They said that after some time he would adjust to the new surroundings and would love the new school more than the previous one. The teachers at the old school made him promise that he would visit them even when he got settled in the new school. The narrator tried to feel comfortable with these words of his teachers. One Sunday afternoon, an accident occurred. Jan was sitting at the dining table doing his homework. The day was cold and windy, and a fire was set up at the fireplace. The narrator's pet cat was lying top of the sheets of paper. It was making a purring sound and was hitting on his pane just for amusement. As Jan had saved the cat, it remained close to him as he protected her. Jan's mother tended the fire to keep the house warm. There was smoke filling the room from the ceiling. Within a few seconds, it filled the room and they could hardly see. They made their way to the front door and escaped into the garden. The roof had caught fire, which spread quickly. Jan ran to the neighbors to call the fire department while his mother ran inside the house. Jan's mother came out of the house holding a small box full of papers. She threw it on the lawn and ran back. She was trying to save important things. As Jan's father had died when Jan was small, she had to save his pictures and letters, which were the only memories of his father. Zan screamed at her not to go inside the burning house. Zan tried to run after her but was stopped by a firefighter. The street was full of firefighter trucks. Zan tried, tried to free himself and tried to explain that his mother had gone inside the house and he wanted to bring her back. The firefighter did not let him go because he knew that the very next moment Zhang would run into the house. He said that the other firefighters would bring her back. The firefighters wrapped a blanket around Zhang and made him sit in their car. A fireman came out of the house with Zhang's mother behind him. He took her to the fire truck and put an oxygen mask on her mouth. Zan ran to her and hugged her. The thought of losing his mother aroused affection in Zan's heart, and all thoughts of dislike vanished from his mind. The fireman calmed Zan and said that she would be fine. She had inhaled smoke. Then the fireman ran into the house to bring down the fire, while the mother's son Dio sat there wondering on what had happened. Zan still remembers how he saw his house burn and felt helpless about it. It took them 5 hours to control the fire. The house was totally burned down. Then Zan realized that his pet cat was missing. He could not find it. He got sad and depressing thoughts like difficulty adjusting to the new school, the burning of the house, and losing his pet cat made him cry. He thought that he was suffering many losses. They were not allowed to go into the building as it could be dangerous. Jan wanted to know about his cat, but he had to leave. They got into the car with none of their belongings. All they had were the few blankets given by the firemen. They spent the night at Jan's grandparents' house. Jan went to school the next day. It was a Monday. At the time of the fire, he was wearing the dress that he wore to the church on Sunday. He was not wearing his shoes. He had removed them and kicked them off when he sat to do his homework. They were burnt in the fire too, so Zan borrowed tennis shoes from his aunt. He did not want to go to school, but his mother forced him to go. He was embarrassed because his clothes were unusual. He did not have his bag, books, and homework. He thought that God wanted that he should live like a person who was different from others and did not fit well in the society. Zan was so upset that he wished to die. Zan walked around the school like a dull, lifeless person. He felt insecure as all his belongings, his old school, old friends, pet cat, and his house had been snatched from him. On his way back, he walked through his burned house and was shocked to see the extent of damage that had been caused by the fire and the water that had extinguished it. The only things that were safe were the ones that his mother had rescued, the papers, photos, and some personal items. Zan had lost his cat too. Zan could not grieve the loss of his cat because they had to rebuild their life. They had to arrange a place to live in, clothes, etc. they had to borrow money from his grandparents as they did not have their credit cards, cash, or any identity proofs to withdraw money from the bank. After some days, the workers were removing the remains of the burned house. They were living in a rented apartment nearby, but Zhang would visit his old house and see the workers. He wished to find his cat there. He had lost her, but kept thinking of the poor soul, how it would wake up when Zhang disturbed it and then followed him, climbed up his gown, and would fall asleep while sitting in his pocket. He missed her. Jan thought that bad news spread faster because everyone, including all the teachers, knew about his sad story. Jan felt embarrassed as he as if he was guilty for all that had happened. He was getting attention for all the wrong reasons. The next day at school was Jan was changing for the gym class when students gathered around him and asked him to hurry. Jan was astonished to strange happenings and so did not react much. The students pushed him into the gym and he realized that the reasons when he reached. There was a table full of articles like notebooks, clothes, stationery items. It felt like Christmas time. Zan got emotional. He made new friends. They invited him to their houses. He was moved by their concern for him. He felt relieved because it was for the first time that he felt something good was happening to him. He made new friends that day. After a month, Zan visited his house as it was being rebuilt. He had two friends with him. The incident transformed him. He came out of the negativity and made new friends. He realized that just like his house was being rebuilt, similarly his life was also being rebuilt. They sat on the pavement and were planning Jan's new bedroom. Someone walked up to Jan from behind and asked if the cat that he was holding belonged to him. Jan grabbed his pet cat, held her close, and cried. On union with her master, the cat made a happy sound. Jan's friends shared his happiness and jumped around. Due to the fire, Jan's pet cat behaved strangely and ran almost a mile away, although their phone number was written on her collar. But as their phone had been destroyed in the fire, the lady could not contact them. She made efforts to trace their address through the number and thus reach them. She could make out that the cat was being missed by her master because the cat was also sad and missed him. When Jan sat with his cat and his friends, the sadness disappeared. He was happy and thankful for getting a new life, which got him new friends, a kind woman who returned his cat and his friend and his pet cat. He got a new life. This is the explanation of the story. So, my dear students, what you are learning from this story is that we should not be having the negative feelings about losing something, but we have to make a new castle out of what is not. But what is there, we have to fight out. The circumstances and the situations will automatically change, and again, then life will continue. So, this was all about the explanation of this chapter. So, my dear friends, I am going to just give you multiple choice questions after this next video. Till then, thank you very much. Bye bye. Have a nice day.